Well, yep, I think we're live. Yep. Well, thank you, everyone. Welcome to the July 1st, 2025 Board of Health meeting. I'm Laurel Schaefer. I'm the Assistant Director for the Public Health Department, standing in for Bobby Locke today. And we'll just go to my right and do introductions.
Hello, everyone. I'm Katie Maxwell, and I'm the Public Health Planner.
Hello, I'm Niana Phillips. I'm the CNC Program Manager.
Gerald Copade for Montezuma County Commissioner.
Kent Lindsay, Montezuma County Commissioner.
Candelaria, Montezuma County Commissioner.
Okay. We can do the approval of the April 2025 minutes. Did everyone have a chance to look at those? Yep. Okay. So
Good to go.
okay. So motion and accepted for the April 2025 minutes. All right. So the first thing on our agenda is going to be meet the Healthy Montezuma team and hear the group's vision and goals to improve the well-being of Montezuma County communities. So we're going to start with that. We did invite some of our team members here today. We just wanted to take the opportunity to share with the Board of Health what Healthy Montezuma is and kind of what we're doing, and also get some of your input once you hear what we're doing. So Healthy Montezuma is a coalition within the health department that is seeking to impact the community in relevant and relatable ways, and is a collaboration of the following community service providers: the health department, of course, the City of Cortez, Pinion Project, CSU Extension and 4-H, Southwest Health Systems, SCYC, Team Up, SAFE Coalition, the Rise Walk, Sand Canyon Therapy, Young People in Recovery, Indigenous Wellbriety, the 22nd Judicial DA's Office, Montezuma County Youth Probation, and several other community members. So our goal as Healthy Montezuma is to create positive connections among community members that promote healthy lifestyles and increase positive mental and physical well-being for all of Montezuma County. Ultimately, the focus remains on substance use prevention.
So I'm going to talk about the 5 ways that we kind of aim to support that work that's stated in the goal. So the first one is reducing stigma. As we all know, there's a lot of stigma associated with mental health and with substance use and related issues. So we try to address this by encouraging open conversations. Reducing stigma has been shown to enhance help-seeking behaviors, so that means people reaching out to get support if they need it, and also improving access to care and leading to better treatment outcomes for individuals who do seek help. The second way we aim to reach this goal is by raising awareness. So we raise awareness of mental health conditions, substance use disorders, and related challenges. And by educating the community, we can help dispel some misconceptions. Effective awareness efforts can inform the public about these issues, which positively influences collective action for change and can actually address root causes. And ultimately, we want to address those root causes because the more of this kind of work we do in the prevention space, the less need there is for treatment. 3, providing resources. So we plan to offer information about treatment options, support groups, and other resources for those seeking help. This has been proven to enhance the well-being, quality of life, and opportunities for individuals within a community. Equal resource distribution fosters both economic growth and sustainability, and unequal distribution of resources can lead to poverty and inequality. So that's providing resources is a really important part of the work that this group does and wants to do. Number 4 is promoting empathy and understanding. So this is a combination of sharing personal stories along with insights from experts. So we can, as a community, help develop empathy and understanding for those struggling with mental health or other challenges. Promoting empathy and understanding has proven to create stronger social bonds and contributes to a more peaceful and cooperative community. It also reduces conflict and motivates behaviors like volunteering and compassion and just things that generally help support and make a community a community. And lastly, we work to address or challenge misconceptions. We can challenge common misconceptions about mental health, substance use, and other issues, helping to create a more inclusive and supportive community.
So a couple of a few things that we're thinking about, and we're going to go over real quick, is one of the things is a health fair. So we've talked with you, Kent, about that, and we are currently working on a health and wellness fair. So we have connected with the hospital. We would love to work with the hospital as our partners on that. They played a crucial role in the previous 9 health fair, and we want to bring a similar event back to Montezuma County. We definitely need that support when it comes to the biometrics, like the lab and the lab work and all of that. If we can't connect with the hospital, then we can also use other labs to do that. But that is one of our goals. And doing that, we also want to do nutritional support as well as physical support. Have all kinds of that type of stuff here, not just your cholesterol and all of that, your blood pressure, your diabetic support. All of that is important, but also your mental wellness and well-being and your physical, and all of that together creates a healthier lifestyle. So we are working on a health fair and starting that. I don't know, it's a huge lift.
It is.
And we are going to need a lot of partners and community support to do it. But I think we do have a lot of community partners, and our partners have partners. So hopefully we can figure something out with that. So that's one of the things we're doing. We're also thinking about a short film, a podcast, and some prevention campaigns. And I will talk about the short film a little bit too. So, and when we talk about these things, I think just keep in mind that we're trying to go back to these five items and breaking stigma, creating connection, and also keeping like a strength-based focus of what Montezuma County is, because we have a lot to offer here. We really do, and I think to stay focused on what our strengths are is very important in creating connections to break those stigmas. So the short film idea is to develop a short film highlighting Montezuma County, emphasizing the community's resilience and creativity in addressing our resource shortages. While acknowledging the challenges, the film would focus on the community's strength and positive efforts to support local needs and celebrating the progress and potential within the county using a storytelling approach. This initiative aligns with the findings from the recent community health assessment, which identified mental health and substance use as a top community concern, reinforces public health core mission, awareness, education, and support. Chaffee County just did something similar to this, and I would love to share that with you guys. I will probably send that link to you. Their mission was a little bit different. It was more or less on economic and housing shortages. Even though that is a concern in our community, our goal in this group is not housing. Deanna, do you want to talk about the podcast, or did you? Here now.
Guys, I guess I'll talk about the podcast. So the podcast series is featuring interviews with Montezuma County professionals who provide services related to substance use and mental health. By sharing their experiences, including any personal history with these issues, the series aims to break stigma, fostering empathy and encouraging health-seeking behavior. Each episode will offer local resources and strength-based coping skills, acknowledging real-life struggles while promoting positive approaches. All interviews will be structured, professional, and HIPAA compliant, and includes signed liability waivers. This initiative aligns with findings from the recent community health assessment, which identifies mental health and substance use at the top of community concerns, reinforcing public health core mission of awareness, education, and support.
Okay. Heather, do you want to do the, okay. Yeah, you could come up here. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
push the button. And you're broadcast out to all of our 7 viewers.
Okay. So my name's Heather Hamilton. I'm with the Health Department, and I wanted to talk about prevention campaigns. They are powerful tools in public health and community well-being. They're designed to proactively address potential issues before they escalate. Instead of reacting to problems after they emerge, these campaigns aim to educate, empower, and encourage individuals and communities to adapt behaviors and practices that safeguard their health and safety. This initiative aligns with findings from the recent community health assessment, which identified the mental health and the substance use as a top community concern, reinforcing public health's core mission of awareness, education, and support.
Heather. So at this time, I would love it if some of our partners would come up and if they would like to come up and share why and share how the work that they do brings into what we're doing.
Don't all jump up at
Yeah.
once. Don't rush the stage.
Yes.
There you go.
Hello, my name is Cameron Schaefer. Laurel is my mom. So again, my name is Cameron, and I'm here representing Sand Canyon Therapy. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that little business agency. A group of 3 of us had opened up a therapy and behavioral health, mental health office here. We wanted to be another outlet for the community, another resource opportunity. So I am a case manager. I do skill-based work. I run the social media pages account. I wear a few different hats with that, just as we're opening up the business. So we've been here since 2006, and I joined Healthy Montezuma, previously known as CTC, when I was in high school. I graduated from Dolores in 2019. I left to go to college in Arizona, and I graduated in 2022, and I came back to the county. Really loved home. I really missed it. And I'm part of Healthy Montezuma because I really love the view and the mission that we had with substance abuse. I got my bachelor's in counseling, emphasizing in substance use, and it just really fit what we are trying to do at Sand Canyon at Healthy Montezuma, and that's why I chose to be here. Was there another question I was supposed to answer?
No, just sharing why you're here with Sand Canyon.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Gene Peck. I'm a county resident. My wife and I both are retired. I've been accused of being a professional volunteer at the health department. We spend a lot of time with these guys. Basically, one of the programs I want to talk about is a safe suicide awareness for everyone. Not too long ago, I had someone who had a person close to them die of suicide. And that person asked me, you ever use the QPR that we teach? Used it 3 times, guys. There's 3 people out here alive and doing well. Not because of me, but because that program teaches us how to talk to people and how to get them to get to help. This group, all these people, if I had to sum up who they are in 2 words or something about them, real simple, they care. We're extremely blessed in our community. We've got some professionals, and part of it is their job. But I'll tell you what, if it was just their job, they'd be in here Monday, through Thursday from 7:30 to 5:30, and that'd be it. I don't know how many times, I've lost track how many times I taught a QPR or the Rise Walk or various other things on Saturdays, on evenings. I think we've done more evening QPRs than we have daytime. And even if it's the day off, these guys show up, not because it's their job, because they care. I appreciate the time you take to let me talk, and I'll get off of here. Have a good one. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Gene.
Hi, I'm Rosa Diamond.
I think you have to push that, yeah.
I'm Rosa Diamond. Like Cameron, I grew up in Montezuma County and came back after school. I am with SCYC, the School Community Youth Collaborative. We do programming in schools with after-school clubs like sewing club, art club, workout club, and stuff like that. My job in particular handles our Safe Driving Initiative, and one of the things, we have a CDOT grant, and one of our goals is to work on education surrounding drunk driving, impaired driving, distracted driving, and all of that. And so my portion with Healthy Montezuma is really supporting that. Again, the education surrounding substance abuse and substance misuse, and then getting in a vehicle and hopefully not causing a crash. And so that's, I guess, my part of it is just the education and safe driving component.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa.
Time do I have? So, hi, good afternoon. My name is Imo Sacco, and I am Director of Indigenous Wellbriety. I am Navajo. I moved to Cortez 4 years ago, and I came here, moved from Durango because it was a lot cheaper. But one of the things that really stood out in this community was that everyone is genuine, and everyone is coming from a space where they are themselves and they're not trying to be somebody else. And so I really like the idea of how communities and organizations like ourselves really get together and try to build around anything that's missing. And it's hard to have these services that are so unique. And I say unique is because I run Indigenous Wellbriety is an all Native American led community-based organization. I am the grant writer, and I founded the organization starting from a program with a health education center based out of Durango. And we've been running for 3 years now, and we are comprised of peer coaches, and we do have peer recovery coaches for adults. And so far we only had provided community-based peer support services for people struggling with addiction, substance use, if they have mental health. And a lot of our Native community members have a lot of those generational traumas that still, lie within us today. And it's hard to say that might never go away, but I do want to be that, that part of the service where we could probably provide peer support services using our own Native lens and seeing where we could fill those gaps in the services here. I come with experience from Access Health in Durango, and I wanted to become a therapist. But after seeing a lot of the clinical approaches, the Western-based communication with our Native people, I decided that this is something that the community needed. But I've held 2 community meetings in this area in Cortez to get some feedback to see if this is something that they would envision for their community. And we've gotten a lot of good participation. We have average participation from 10 to 15 talking circle participants twice a week. And we started out with like 2 to 5. Yeah, 2 to 5 people. And so I think I sit on the board of directors for the Bridge Shelter here. And I also sit on the board of directors for Rocky Mountain Health Foundation. And also sit on the impact committee for the Colorado Health Foundation. And really my voice is not coming from because I want status. It's really coming from, I grew up poor. I'm a first language speaker. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. And I grew up on my tribal reservation, and I worked for law enforcement for 10 years, and all the things that I've gone through, it's really important for me to share that story with the community and share how I suffered too, but I also have gone through many obstacles to get where I'm at. So I earned 3 degrees. I have a master's degree in social work with University of Denver, and you know, a lot of the community relations that I've built in the area is really based upon how we care about our community. And I bought a house here, and I live here, and I don't know where else I want to go, but I know I don't want to go back to where I came from. So that's who I am. And I also sit on the S.A.F.E Coalition, which is the Suicide Awareness for Everyone Coalition. So yeah, just a lot of things coming from the heart from my end. And I'm going to go ahead and let my project coordinator speak on behalf of the youth programming.
Thanks, Imo.
Hello, I'm Tess. Hello. Hello.
There you
Yes.
go.
Okay. I'm Tess, and I'm the director of the organization Indigenous Wellbriety. I'm the program coordinator for the youth programming. I started with IMO a few years back as an independent contractor when I was doing art therapy and teaching what I refer to as well-being tools or mindfulness. I'm also a mindfulness facilitator for the youth with the La Plata CSU Health Without Barriers program, and they have brought that cohort for the first time to Dolores. I'm on the BHAC committee, and so let me just tell you about what we're doing with the youth at Indigenous Wellbriety. So our intention, because Indigenous Wellbriety, as Imo said, is a Native American-based curriculum using white bison for recovery, and we wanted to incorporate some of that into our youth programming, and we do. However, so our youth programming primarily is, well, not primarily, during the school season it's at SWOs, and then we have a family talking circle throughout the year. We just started this program in January. For the first meeting at SWOs, I created a survey because I was like, I want to teach well-being tools. I came up with the catchphrase, use well-being tools instead of using. I'm not in recovery, and the reason for that is I attribute that to, in my youth I had a pretty life-changing experience, and quite frankly I said I didn't want to be crazy like my caregivers that were misusing substances, and so I took my experience from my youth of practicing the well-being tools, and I wanted to include it in the curriculum at SWOs. So the survey, back to the survey at SWOs, the first talking circle, we created a survey and asked the kids to be, you know, we're not sharing this with your parents, teachers, counselors. How often do you use substances? And we got like 10 surveys. And everyone was like, yes, majority of them have used either cannabis or alcohol or other drugs. And then the next question I asked is, what other things do you do to cope, or you know, why do you do that? Stress, da, da, da. What other tools do you practice? Every one of them said, I don't know of any others. So that was an indication for us, okay, we wanted to start teaching these tools. In just from January to May, I mean, I don't have all the totals yet, but we had an average between 5 and 7 once a week of students. Some of our successes, at the end of the year, SWOs had an event, and different vendors there were asking the SWOs students, what's your favorite well-being tool? And they were just talking about, well, there's this one, and kind of like educating the different vendors about it. So we really felt like that was contribute to our success of helping them. And our family talking circle, we meet once a month, and we do, again, art therapy. We use the White Bison Native American base curriculum, and we teach well-being tools. I held the workshop for Team Up on Wellbeing Tools, and the response was really favorable, and people asked to do that more often. It kind of validated to me that just the need for coping, whether it doesn't need to be coping from substance misuse, but just stress in general. Thank you for your time. You have any questions?
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tess. Yeah, so thinking about coping skills, I think that it's really important, and you know, I was lucky enough to be one of those vendors or tablers, and I feel like I have myself pretty well put together, and I also came from a family of generational poverty and substance abuse, and I am proud to say that I personally have broken that generational curse, and I learned things sitting there thinking about coping and stress. You know, stress is a big thing. Stress is an everyday thing for everyday people. So coping tools and coping skills are super important. So I think, you know, just to end on, in rural places like Montezuma County, where issues like mental health and substance use are identified as top concerns, and our community collaboration is so important. It's essential. So I just want to thank all of our partners for always being here with us, and hopefully we can continue to work together. You guys are so important to us. Yeah, it's what public health is all about, and we're just honored to work together with you guys. Do you guys have any questions, ideas, suggestions?
I really don't. I mean, go back to the health fair, and I know it's a big lift, but you've got to be physically well to be able to cope.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a great opportunity to also provide skills like coping skills, physical skills, like, you know, like just taking a walk, how beneficial that is for not just your physical health, but your mental health. Yeah. You know, and also, you know, stigma is a big thing. We're going to talk about that here. And I will say too, in our rural areas, a lot of the things that work for us are grassroots efforts. They are efforts that we come up with listening to our community members, listening to the people who are out there doing the work. Niana was just recognized by the Behavioral Health Administration last week for a program called Cattle, Crops, and Coffee that is targeted towards our agricultural population. And her group came up with that. Community members in group came up with that. That is not a program that exists anywhere else. And that is a connection opportunity where people can get resources or just simply talk about the situations that they're in. I'm probably not a person that would go to that because I don't know, but they know, but that population knows. So those kind of things are essential in rural areas. So yeah, that's kind of what Healthy Montezuma's goal is. So
I have a question or a comment. I'm not sure how this is going to be posed, but for me, the strategies here, I look at the stigma. I'm not quite sure because I'm old enough that doesn't really mean much to me, but obviously I'm old and you all are young, and there's a different there's something different about that. I'm not as old as my partners to the left, but I am poking at them a little bit. But that's kind of what we do because we have a lot of stressors that we deal with on a daily basis also. Mm-hmm. Most people would never even imagine. But where I'm going is that what do we do with the social media aspect? Because as I talk to my young kids, our younger kids. You know, that's probably the biggest part of the Demons platform that I can even relate to today, is that's where everything starts. It creates stigma. It creates all of these inequities that everybody has, but yet everybody is attached to it. These kids all get them now when they're, what, 10 years old? I mean, I'm guessing. At what point do we really start teaching healthy lifestyles by not attaching yourself to something that's 100% negative all the time? Bullying. I mean, bullying takes place on that constantly. And those are the kind of, those are my questions that I ask myself all the time, is how do you create a society, because it's already created, how do you take that away to create a healthier community or society, really? You know, we have these conversations. Commissioner Copenhaver is probably the best one of the bunch, because he looks at none of it. He's the wisest man in here. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Or just the news at night. You know, one of the things that I did, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the doctor's name. She's a health, anyway. You know, that was one of her recommendations, is don't even turn on the news at night. Don't even listen to it. Don't look at it for a week. Just give yourself a break, because we are so in tune with nothing but negative. Depending on where you're at, your psyche, you can become just negative, or, oh my God, the sky is falling, and it's really not falling. It's pretty bright out there. It's nice. Go for a walk or do whatever you said. But I guess that's my key point, is how do we divert, how do we change this and get rid of these, and it's all of them. I mean, it's Facebook, TikTok.
Well, how do we turn this
Instagram
back into a tool rather than a lifestyle?
That's what we need to do. And I think once we can come up with that kind of a concept, it's easy to fix everything else.
Yeah.
Because it's not broken.
Yeah.
You know, what happened to going outside and playing with a box of rocks in a sandbox?
Wait for your little brother to walk by and nail him with a clod.
I mean,
you
I
can,
look at
you
this,
can come
raising
up here.
awareness, providing resources.
Go ahead, Katie, if you want. Yeah.
I think it's a really great point and a really good question. There's some research coming out about like treating technology use as an addiction. So it does definitely, and the companies that are creating this are specifically making these things incredibly addictive. So I think one of the first things is just acknowledging that it is a really huge uphill battle for all of us to have these things in our pockets that are incredibly addictive, and that it's not to blame anyone individually or personally, but these companies that are making them that way. And I also took a recent training on social media use and mental health, and specifically in children. And there were a number of pediatricians on that call, and their perspective was, and it kind of made me rethink about this, that it isn't 100% negative, but it is something that we need to have conversations about, starting when people are children, about what is safe use of technology, what is a good amount of time, what are other coping mechanisms, because we are fighting this uphill battle that unfortunately we do not have the money to fight against these huge companies, but what we can do is start having conversations, especially starting at young age, about what is, like, if you're experiencing bullying online, how to get help for that, and how to have conversations and talk about this. And that there are potential positive elements to social media as well, and trying to bring out more of those positive elements and to counteract some of the negative ones, like offering resources in these ways. Like some of our examples, having a podcast or a short film that is promoting these health behaviors and substance use prevention. Those can be a positive use of those things at the same time. Did you want to?
I was just thinking, Mr. Candelaire, when you were talking like that would be a great subject, and you as the guest for one of the podcasts.
I mean, anytime,
Yeah.
and I mean that because, you know, we are, well, we're attached. I've got 2 of them in my pockets, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, I'm in a different era. I know how to stop. I know how to take time for myself. And I'm gonna bring up a quote that came out of a book I read. And it was, the quote is, "Pay yourself first." So let me ask you all a question, because as we're promoting something like this, how many of you give yourself 1 hour a day just for you, or you, or you, or you? Give yourself 1 hour a day, or 30 minutes. Start with something as small as give yourself 30 minutes first, and by that, that's paying yourself, because that helps you with physical health, mental health, and we've lost all of those simple concepts.
Yep.
But you can use that term in all kinds of other things. Now, are you doing it? Pay yourself first, and I would gladly be in any podcast because, shoot, I love.
I think that would be great.
But I mean, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It could go to
Yeah.
financial health. Pay yourself first.
Yeah.
We worry about everybody else and everything else, but we don't worry about taking care of ourselves first, and that's a concept. And again, in our society, not just in this community, but we have lost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't have to answer me in here, but how many of you
No.
give yourself 1 hour a day, where you give you 1 hour a day?
I definitely do, and I'll tell you that sometimes I will not do anything to let anything interfere in that 1 hour a day. I get very selfish with that 1 hour a day. I'm like, nope, going to the gym. Can't help you today. Go ahead, Rosa.
So I did want to speak on the question that you had, because one of the things that I forgot, that I do not forgot, but just, again, my role here is more in that safe driving component, but I also work with students and am certified to teach a life skills course. It's a BOTVIN course is what it's called. And so one of those key components in there is the distraction of social media and how there is some untruths in social media and media in general with youth. And so we are starting with hopefully 4th, 5th graders with Battle Rock, and I teach up to high schoolers with our Youth Leadership Council. And that is a key component. And as we're talking about, you know, refraining from alcohol, how to say no, saying, you know, standing in yourself against peer pressure, that is one of their biggest components, and it's its own complete lesson, and it's how to interpret what you're seeing as not real. And that is a huge thing. I agree completely that that's something that we're going to have to battle. And with the podcast and the video, I do think that that gives that positive viewpoint. That's battling that negative viewpoint that so many are getting, because when we talk to the high schoolers, that was the biggest thing on TikTok, on YouTube, on this reel. This is what I seen, and on one it's saying this is really great, and then on the next it's saying the same thing is really bad. And so we're trying to teach them how to connect with their parents, with their grandparents, with people in the community that are trusted community members, and find the truth in that digital medium.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very hard topic, and it's to us.
That's
Yeah.
my idea and recommendation. That's where you need
Yeah.
to start. That's
Social
how we
media.
grow.
Okay, I love it. I like it.
You asked for the idea, so there's mine.
I like
You
it.
turn it on so it works.
And really, honestly, if you have any other ideas, we'll take them. So that's what this is all about. So, and we will keep you updated on the health fair. Hopefully, we can move forward with that. I would love to see that. You know, it might start off smaller, and then grow. So, but I think we can do it. I think if we can get some volunteers and some
Yeah,
sponsors, we could do
I'm
it.
thinking, you know, CDPHE might be willing to help, and maybe even the Lohr Foundation
Yeah.
be able to throw in.
I think so. And I think a lot of people would volunteer. And then, you know, I mean, you have to pay for your labs anyway. So I think
Yeah.
if we could get a lab company to come in,
That's
you're
one
going
of
to be
the-
paying
that's
for
one
it
of the
anyway.
big lifts is to get that, and the billing and how to get the results back to the patient without
Right.
violating HIPAA laws.
Right. Well, and also the responsibility in reading those labs. So,
Yes.
you know, you get your labs back and sometimes people just don't understand them and you can't just leave them hanging. So that's the other big piece, I believe, which is why I'd really love to work with our hospital. So, and their providers. Okay. So does anybody have anything else? Okay. So thank you guys for coming. If you guys want to stay, you're welcome, but okay, so the next thing is our CNC and Safe Coalition and a county fair update. So we wanted to let you guys know. So Niana?
Hi guys. We met a couple times. I am Niana Phillips. I'm the program manager for CNC. I just wanted to share a couple updates with you about the CNC, also known as S.A.F.E, which is focused on suicide prevention here in the county. We are working to reduce suicide rates and tackle the stigma surrounding mental health over the past year. The S.A.F.E Coalition has created bereavement boxes they're held at the Public Health Department, and they're really for people who have lost someone to suicide. Our hope for this is to become a postvention plan where the community has, like law enforcement, therapy facilities, healthcare facilities, contribute to this postvention resource and like refer, or they are able to pick one up and give it to one of the lost survivors there that they're working with closely. Additionally, we also introduced the Montezuma aftercare packages, which was positively received by the community. One of CNC's main pillars is economic stability, so that's how we contributed to that. These aftercare packages were a tote bag, they're dedicated to the houseless and homeless community here in the county. The bag turns into a blanket, and then the bag was stuffed with like basic hygiene items, also with local resources and national resources for mental health, and then also local food resources here. One of the big things that we're going to address, so the S.A.F.E Coalition is committed to addressing the issues of suicide, particularly among middle-aged to older male adults. Our research indicates that a significant number of those impacted by suicide work in high-risk fields such as construction and agriculture. We've been gathering this data from the county coroner and the state dashboard. As we both know, these occupations face numerous stressors, especially role stressors. The Connectedness Work Group, which operates under S.A.F.E, seeks to address the unique challenges that these communities face. The primary objective of the work group is to promote connections among individuals at high risk. Currently, the Connectedness Work Group is focusing on the ag community. To facilitate this, the work group created created the Cattle, Crops, and Coffee, which is a program that serves as an inclusive opportunity for individuals to come together, connect, engage in conversation on any topic. This initiative aims to create a welcoming environment that encourages openness, making discussion about mental health only if they want to, and feel less formal. So our research indicates that establishing meaningful connections can significantly decrease the likelihood of suicide for individuals experiencing a mental health crisis. As a result, S.A.F.E created an agricultural logo for Montezuma County to help break stigma within the community, emphasizing the message that it's okay to not be okay. This initiative also encourages Montezuma County residents and those in the ag community to continue to offer support to their neighbors in need. I'm just going to elaborate on this. So we had 5 Cattle, Crops, and Coffee events here in the county. We had one in Macus, one in Lewis, and one in Dolores. They were all well attended because they started right before people were getting out their equipment. And so as soon as summer came around, the attendance died down, so we put a pause on it and are going to try to continue it in the fall. And I just want to also thank so Big R, IFA, Basin Co-op, and the CSU Extension, Fahrenheit, Mama Bears, and Bubba's all gave us donations, so donating their facility or giving us gift cards and things to like start it off. And then also a thanks to Cox's Conica, which is in Macus now. They donated money to help this initiative, so that was also well received. But again, with the S.A.F.E, we made these little, so this is our new logo. Well, it's not our new logo, but it's our logo for the ag community. And as we know, Montezuma County is majority ag and based, and farmers and ranchers and stuff like that. And we are planning on attending the fair this year, and we are wanting to get feedback in the community about where they would like to meet, and also there's in the survey also, if you're not in the ag community, it also has questions for you on your thoughts as well. But with that, we wanted to give away a gun safe for those that enter into the survey. It's a 46 gun safe, I think, 46 gun safe.
A Yuma 46.
Yes. Only with that, we wanted only 21 and up to enter into the survey, so we'll be doing something else for the younger adults there. But that's kind of what we're doing, and that's our initiative and what we've been working on so far. But yeah, do you guys have any questions?
When you say it was well attended, what kind of numbers?
We had about 8 to 10,
Okay.
11, 12 people come. So it was pretty well attended, and it was nice to see because we, the people that came wanted to know what was going on and what it was all about. So I gave that spill, and then they kind of just took over. They all talked about the water, the drought, what they're planting, beans, the difference between, it was just really back and forth. It was really cool to see funding and all of that. So I think a lot of people made connections, and with that also one gentleman actually did come up to me and expressed his concern about his mental health, and I kind of just referred him and told him it's okay and he can continue to attend these, but what I know will be shared and stuff like that. So I think making connections like that is important, and it's just really connecting with one another and talking about your stress, even if it's like farming and what's going on with the water and stuff like that. So yeah.
So they'll be at the fair. So hopefully, yeah. And I think she's got some
I got
things
these
for you.
guys.
So. Oh.
I'll get a hat. I heard the Richardsons are nice.
Pretty good hat, thank you.
Yeah. There you go. There's stickers here. Put on your Yeti coolers.
There we go.
And then there's shirts. Actually, I kind of want to show you these. So the shirts have a nice saying in the back, because you can mend your own sense, but faster with a friend. So just giving encouragement. I assumed you guys were all larger. I hope you guys are.
How about XL?
Yeah.
Oh.
A little
I
heavier
can-
than that.
I can go back and grab you guys.
Yeah, we're all full-figured boys.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you, Niana. Okay, so we'll just move right along. Okay, so the next thing, I gotta take my minutes here too. So, our communicable and infectious disease updates. So, measles is still a thing. As of June 12th, we have 15 cases in Colorado and none in our county. So if you need any information on the vaccine recommendations, you can call the health department or Southwest Health Systems, or anything to do with signs and symptoms or anything like that. So both the health department and Southwest Health Systems have the vaccine. We are only tracking COVID outbreaks, and so there are no COVID outbreaks this last quarter. We have had 21 dog bites just this quarter, so a lot of bad dogs out there. And we do have one active tuberculosis case and one suspected case. On the active case, we are doing what they call DOT, which is direct observation therapy, where we have to watch them take their medication for 6 months. So we are doing that. But that's about it on that front.
So do they still quantify, is it 2 or 3 as an outbreak for COVID?
Ooh,
Is it-
I believe it's 3, but I'm
Which,
not.
I mean, just to
quite
put that out
sure.
there for everybody,
Yeah.
when they hear the term, here again, social
Yeah.
media, outbreak is bad, right? Ooh, scary. It's 2 or 3 people. That's
Yeah.
the kind of education that we really need to get to people to understand that.
And I believe it's in a
It's not.
facility too, like a healthcare
facility.
nursing facility. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So updates for the health department. So I did give you guys each a flyer for our Rise Southwest Suicide Awareness Walk. It is September 13th. Also wanted to add, while we have Sand Canyon here, that some of the money that we raised during this walk last year, and then CNC is actually, Niana's program is putting in this year for a Living with Suicide Loss group, which was very well attended last year. So that is a group that meets at Sand Canyon if you have lost someone to suicide. So it just, what's that? No, if you want. Yeah. But they meet there weekly or every other, bi-weekly. But it's just a support group. It's very hard to lose somebody like that. And sometimes it's nice to have someone or other people to talk to that about. So that should be, and they are extending the day. So I believe we're going to have a band afterwards and hang out longer. So, and I think they're even exploring potential food trucks. So, yeah.
Alcohol, but
Yeah.
food trucks.
Yeah, none of that. So some health department updates. I think probably the biggest update is that we're still waiting on federal funding, which is very unprecedented, but I know we're not the only ones. Currently, it's only affecting our immunization, half of our immunization program, half of our emergency preparedness program, and our maternal child and health program. So we are still patiently waiting for that, but we are hoping that we will get answers in the next couple weeks. That's what we've been told. So, so for the next meeting, I just wanted to just give you guys a heads up, and you obviously can add to this, but the on-site wastewater treatment system, our septic system, new regulations governing the septic system program were released in June, so last month. And boards of health have until next June of 2026 to adopt our own local version of those regulations, but they do have to be in alignment with the updated state standards. But the state is highly recommending that we adopt those before January 1st of 2026. So Linda is working on getting that all laid out to let you guys know and to let us know how those have changed, what has changed, because those regulations are pretty long, and kind of like pulling out what's changed and how, so we can decide what we want to do here in Montezuma County. So just letting you guys know that that will be coming up, and we'll have to be making some decisions about that. And also, we got word today that the food licensing fees, which the state sets, are going up. So they will be going up apparently, which I find very odd, August 6th. So August 6th through 12/31, if you open up a new food establishment, there's going to be a new fee. And then, of course, starting January 1st, the new fee will be in place. And then apparently they will gradually go up until 2028. But we don't know what those fees will be yet. So hopefully by October, at the next meeting, we'll know what those are. So we'll hopefully talk about those at the next meeting. So if anybody has anything else they want to add to the next meeting, let us know.
Sounds like the OWTS will be probably quite a bit by itself.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see what the differences truly are.
Yeah.
So the sooner she can get that to us, if we have it developed,
Yeah.
the better before the meeting.
Yeah, she's working on it. She was hoping to have it at this meeting, but just didn't happen, so, but. Yeah. Yeah, 150
Are those actually
pages.
all changing?
No,
Yeah.
no, she has to go through 150 pages. Well, they're helping her, but,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, go ahead.
I was just thinking, since I'm here, I can also update you on, so I presented the community health assessment last time, you probably remember. So our next step will be the public health improvement plan, but in the meantime, which is our 5-year strategic plan for public health. But in the meantime, our advisory committee did do a prioritization process and capacity assessment and determined that both substance use and mental health are going to be the top issues we're focusing on. So it kind of relates to a lot of other stuff we were talking about that day, but for that strategic plan, we will be bringing in as many community partners as we can that work in those fields. So just so you know kind of what came out of that process and where we're headed.
And we may be inviting one of you or to join us in that process too. So you made the list. Okay, that's all I have. If you guys have anything else? No?
Next meeting.
Next meeting will be on October 7th, 2025. So we can adjourn.